What's up? So, today is a big deal, I think. I have been officially retired for 100 days. 100. Sorry, my glasses are crooked. I don't know why my hats are always crooked. Um, it's big, right? Like, the 3-month could have been big, the 90 days, but like 100. We are now into triple digits of my retirement. I finally got my first paycheck, so it feels real. It doesn't as much feel like I'm a bum anymore, and it kind of feels more like my job is to stay home and get into shenanigans. I don't know. I think it's finally hitting in a good way, and I have more bent days than broken days, mentally at least. With the back, it's still a hit or a miss, but I do have more treatment coming up soon, and I still go to the chiropractor. But my neighbor's about to get home, so this is gonna be interesting. It's weird. Everything's weird, but it's finally starting to click in a good way. Still doesn't feel like what I thought retirement was going to feel like, because I thought I would travel, but Jen's been talking about travel lately since we got Maggie, of course, which makes it virtually impossible to try and do that, because I don't know who's going to watch the dogs. But it's different in the fact that when things got hard back in the day, I used to get in the car and I'd go across the country, because I worked for myself, and I did things, legal things, where I was able to do exactly that. I was able to go any of the 50 states I wanted to go to, and so that's what I did. And it took a while, a couple years, for me to realize that when I do that, I'm just running from my problems. And Jen keeps talking about, she wants to take a trip, just a short little trip. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. But in the back of my head, I'm like, for the first time in my life, I don't think I want to. I want to stay here. The world that I knew came crashing down around me, but I don't have anything to run away from anymore. Like, I get to stay here and work on these projects and try and recover and do all these things, and my wife comes home to me every day. That's huge. Huge. And I can't tell you the number of ways that my eyes have been opened during this time. My ADHD has significantly gotten worse, but I've been trying to research and learn on that, and what I've learned is that without the structure of my job, my brain just goes haywire all the time. And I'm like, okay, that actually kind of sort of makes sense. So a lot of the things make a lot of sense. So I'm probably going to get back on my ADHD medicine. Hopefully it's not as expensive on this new insurance as it was on the old insurance. High deductible plan sucks for any of the young people out there. Don't get that shit. Pay the extra money. It's a big difference. For example, my ADHD meds cost me anywhere from $70 to over $100 a month, versus people that were not on the high deductible were paying $10, some of them $4 for like a 3-month supply. So yeah, that's my ADHD talking. But yeah, I might get back on some medicine for that and see if it helps at all. Like, I don't know. Jen probably loves my random songs and dance moves around the house. I don't know. I can't really dance. She just says I really just do the chicken dance. But also, I've taken a much closer look at my inner circle, and I learned many years ago that the happiest people have the smallest circle. Because I used to be the person always surrounded by people and like all the things, but I didn't have any true friendships. And this retirement has taught me to further evaluate things. Plus, the ADHD brain overanalyzes everything, so I've had plenty of time to think. And for the past month, almost, I decided some of those people that were extra toxic in my life and that I've wanted to get away from, but for one reason or another, I never had the courage to leave. I kind of put them on limited contact. And when I tell you that last almost month was probably the most peaceful month of my entire life. And like the whole time, like, I mean, I would get up and I'm just like, okay, I'm like clear-headed. I don't feel like I'm being controlled. I don't feel like I'm being manipulated. Like, this is me. Like, now I'm like truly building the life that my wife and I desire. Like, I felt like I could breathe. The only eggshells were the ones that I grind up for the chickens and for the worms. Like, I'm not walking on them anymore. It was liberating. But then some things happened and I slightly lifted that restriction and I learned that was stupid. So I guess that was the final test for these toxic people that were always testing me. They didn't know that they were also under observation. And they're no longer a part of my life. And while I was doing my little test, I kept thinking, I was like, are you gonna stop your YouTube channel? Because I really thought about that. Because I'm like, you know, if you're limiting contact, I don't really post on my socials anymore. I haven't in a while. That's unrelated to the back injury. But I was like, if you keep making these videos and showing like what your life is, that's their end. And I kept toying with it, but I continued to make videos. And I realized that I don't want to stop. I actually enjoy looking like a weirdo on my front stoop and talking to a camera. You know, it was a big adjustment. That first video, I was awkward as shit, and like I had a script off to the side of the camera, and I'm like, and I made so many cuts in the video. Now I don't give a flying fuck. If my editing's not good, because I don't do any, okay? It is what it is. Like, yeah, I have all the free time, but like, I ain't doing that. You know, if I mispronounce a word, I'm not gonna cut it and try again, and there'll be like a little, I don't give a shit. I forgot what I was saying. There's that ADHD. That would be the time that I would cut. But no, I enjoy making these videos. I enjoy posting them while my wife's at work, and then when she gets home, we get to watch it together. And by that point, I've done completely forgot what I said in the video. I just remember like a brief little synopsis of what the video is about. And so like we both just sit there and we laugh, and it's really entertaining. But I decided those haters can continue to hate. You can continue to watch my shit. I don't care. Welcome. This is my life that you are now missing out on because of who you are as a person. Not because of me. It's because of you. And I'm perfectly fine with that. You know, some things may be left out. Like one thing that recently happened that I cannot wait to share with everyone but those people. It is extremely exciting, but I'm going to wait to share that. You can't put everything online, you know, but you will find out at some point. It is coming. And yeah, I'm like through the roof. Like, I want to put everything else aside and just focus on this one thing, but I'm not, because last night my wife decided to take out one of our little dry erase boards and make a whole list. And this was following a conversation that she had where her to-do list is very different from my to-do list. She set it on the stove, right? It's just, I mean, the entire dry erase board is filled. And so I'm starting to read over it, and I'm looking at it, and like, I mean, there's some good things on there. There's some boring things like laundry. But I'm looking at this list, and I go, huh, is this my honey-do list? And she's like, no, that's just my list of things. And I look at it again, and I'm like, yeah, our lists are very different. And so now I feel like her list is now my honey-do list, but her list doesn't include some of the really important things that I need to do, like get the rest of these plants in the ground. Because I got a couple in yesterday, but I don't know. I got to get the rest of these in the ground. I keep changing my mind on different things, and I don't have the bed that I was going to put these in fixed up yet the way I want to try and suppress the weeds. So they're going where they did last year. It's a whole thing, but like our lists don't match. And so now I think I'm going to have to task on Michelle's list, task on Jen's list, task on Michelle, you know, just kind of balance it a little bit. I also think I need to be a better stay-at-home bum. because the laundry should now be on my list, even though I hate laundry, but whatever. I have laundry in the dryer right now. We'll see if it gets folded. But yeah, I don't know. It's been a very eye-opening 100 days, and everybody told me, and I've always believed this, but everything happens for a reason. And I didn't feel like losing my career was ever going to be something good. And it's really bothered me, like, from the time that I knew that this is where I was going to end up until even a couple days ago. Everybody's, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? And, like, that question constantly pissed me off because I'm like, I don't fucking know. And with my back, there's a lady yelling at her kid on a swing. With my back, it limits me. But I'm proud to announce that I do finally know exactly what I'm going to do. At least for the next probably few years. Beyond that, I don't know, because I don't know where my back will be in that time and what other opportunities will come up, and like the things that I'm planning on doing now, I don't know if that's gonna open up other doors. There's a very good chance it will. But I am very excited to start this stuff. And so now I've got to try and get some of my projects done so I can focus on this other stuff. But now I've got my list and Jen's list, and there's too many lists and there's too many things on the list, and I just got to get these things done, you know? By the way, that's how my brain sounds all the time. So these videos, they help me kind of slow down and like think. But it's funny, I've been out here and I've been clearing out the beds for the flowers. And I don't know why or how, but in these steps, there's wildflowers growing in the cracks. I don't understand. Now, I did go ahead and remove all the grass that was growing in them. It fortunately wasn't a lot, but I pulled all that out. But there's flowers, there's even some down on the other steps. They're just popping out of all the cracks. And when I was out here weeding that little bit, like 12 minutes ago, because that's when my video started, I like froze for a second and I realized that beauty just comes out of the smallest little nooks and crannies sometimes. So to the mailman and the Amazon drivers and anybody else who delivers anything here, please don't trample my beauty, because I'm leaving it, okay? I am leaving all of it here. By the way, last year these things got like 6 feet tall. That's a lie, like 4 or 5. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna leave it. I think it's cool. I'm gonna see what happens. Yeah, I don't, how did they do that? Because I had wildflowers planted in this bed over here. I think we did have a few there, but how did they reseed themselves in the cracks of my steps? The good news with the flowers there, I now don't have to pressure wash my front stoop. We can cross that off the list until these suckers die. But yeah, so back to the premise. 100 days retired feels pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. My wife is worried about me because sometimes I make weird little comments, but she doesn't fully understand that it's kind of just how I cope with things, and I don't necessarily mean anything by it. I'm in a better space mentally than I have been in quite some time. And I am so grateful for that. I've been working through some things, with the injury, the loss of career, the family trauma, the toxic people, like all of those things. And the more I take like an hour a day and like sit there and I think about it and I process it and all the things, I feel better about it. But the biggest thing that I learned is something that I've done almost all my life. And to use a fun analogy, it's like you're out in the woods and you get bit by a snake. You get bit by a venomous snake, right? Most people would, well, hopefully most people, probably a rational person, would try to treat that snake bite and get to definitive care. But what people like me would do, people that have been through the same abusive cycles that I've been through their entire life, rather than trying to fix and better myself after getting bit by a snake, I try and chase the snake to find out why it bit me. And it's been a very tough couple of days trying to realize that you can't talk to a snake. You can't catch that snake and ask it and say, hey, why did you bite me? And expect it to be able to answer that question. And the reflection from that, just like, it's blown my mind. Like, I haven't even fully processed it all yet, but that's exactly what I would do. I would get bit, and I would ask why. Rather than get bit and say, where's the nearest hospital? Because, like, I need to go. I just got bit by a snake. And so, now, if you bite me, I'm not going to ask why. Rather than that, I'm just not going to give you the opportunity to bite me again. And since I've been thinking a lot about snakes, as I'm out here clearing out these flower beds and stuff, I've been watching for snakes, because a couple of years ago I had a bunch of little pavers stacked up against the brick of the house, and when I was clearing those out, lo and behold, there were a whole den of like baby copperheads. Fortunately, Mama was not there. And so, like, anytime I get near the concrete, or the bricks rather, I've been thinking, okay, there could be a snake. Haven't found any, but over here I uncovered a huge nest of these little black spiders. I mean, they looked mean. And then I realized, hey, dumbass, you should probably move away from them. Like, I had one hand on the ground, because I have to be very careful with how I position my back when I'm doing this. So I had the one hand on the ground, and I'm just and then I realized there's spiders running all around this hand, but I didn't flinch. Probably stupid. I did not get bit, at least not that I'm aware of, but the opportunity was there. Now I'm just rambling, but I am on the lookout for snakes, because they're not going to be in my life anymore, and that is liberating! So yeah, I'm going to go back to doing what I'm doing, and get this garden in the ground, and grow way more tomatoes and peppers than I will know what to do with. So that's the plan, Stan. Retire. 100 days feels different. And stay tuned, because I've got some good stuff coming down the line. And I'm going to be learning some new skills soon. It's going to be exciting. At least for me. Maybe not for you, because you're just laying at home watching this. But, yeah, follow along. Remember, make your days bent, not broken. Don't let people break you now.